Well, last month, America made history by electing the first ever woman and person of color to the position of Vice President-elect of the United States. The monumental moment creating waves around the globe as Kamala Harris proclaimed is just the beginning for women at the forefront of our country's government.
So how does this win change our society? What are the implications for people of color, women, little boys and girls all across the nation? Well, we sat down with a multicultural student coordinator from UW-Stout for this week's Hometown Conversation, who says that eyes are beginning to open, mindsets are starting to change, but there is still plenty to be done.
She has really worked herself up to that position. It wasn't something of like, let's throw a woman out on the ballot. There was intention there. She worked up the ranks, starting off as an attorney to attorney general for the state, and then, just continuing on as senator. It's very much a tale for a lot of folks coming from a single parent household, immigrant family, and in low income. So it's like all of these things that could be relatable. And for me, it was like, I know how hard it was on my level, but it's like, here's this woman and in the Senate and now VP, that it really meant something. We heard that powerful quote and it gives me chills. And she's, when Kamala said, I may be the first, but I'm not going to be the last. I mean, that it was like, yeah, thank you for saying that. I mean, it's inspiring me. It's inspiring my nieces.
You mentioned the word intention and that there was intention behind her being put on the ticket. It wasn't just, let's put a woman on the ticket. Why is it important that we remember that when there are people or naysayers that might say, you're just putting a woman on the ticket to appeal to more voters?
This is a woman who brings brilliance and smarts and intelligence. Like I said, she worked up her ranks. And I think that if you did the research, you would see where she was contributing. Not everybody can be an attorney. There's a process to get there. There's a lot of intentional work you have to do.
Harris, of course, like any other candidate, is not perfect or universally loved by everyone, but again, she is breaking that ceiling that women have been working to shatter for decades. So how does this win signify a shift in the way that our country views women in power?
Yeah, I always think of Beyonce, who runs the world, and it's really, it's interesting that this has brought up that glass ceiling again. I mean, we've, talked about that. I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time, but I'm an 80s kid, but that was a big thing when I was growing up. And to see more women rise up into these higher level positions, you know, it, it's unfortunate that it's taken a lot of time to get to that level, to be taken seriously. I mean, women represent about 58.2% from the age of 16 who are working age. So 58.2%. And with that is like, we have not only, we're representing ourselves in businesses in different capacities of work, the workforce, but that we also have that buying power. And we are giving back in taxes, we're giving back in commerce, and we do have a lot of power. And I think that knowing that and noticing that now has really put us at a different level.
Do you think that Harris, like many women in high-profile roles, especially women of color, will be held to a higher standard than her predecessors?
As a woman of color, it seems like I have to work that much harder. You're having to work hard because of, as being somebody who identifies as a woman, it's like that's one hurdle. But now I have this other hurdle of being taken seriously because of being a woman of color. I think we get misjudged. We get passionate about maybe a topic and then we're labeled as something else. The B word, or that, angry Latina, or the angry this, or, and it's like, no, I mean, can it just be simply as we're passionate about something?
You mentioned that your nieces are inspired. How about, little boys? What is the impact on them when they're seeing, women that are in these roles and it might be the norm for them if they're, growing up now and seeing a Kamala Harris in the White House. How does this change, the way that they perceive women?
These little boys may be looking at their mom differently. She's a powerful person. She may have dreams as well. I kind of forgot that, as a kid, I never thought about my mom's dreams. I never, you just never ask those things. But I think that might put some little boys and pause for a little bit of saying, wow, the president or vice president doesn't always have to be a male. It could be female. I'm looking at my little sisters, or I'm looking at my mom. Like,
And it's not just women that are breaking the gender roles. We do have Kamala Harris's husband, who is going to be leaving his full-time law firm to take on his role at the White House. How does this kind of shake things up?
when I had thought of this question, I'm like, wasn't that his duty? Like, as a woman, like, they have to give up their positions. And so naturally, I thought, like, well, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
How do these high-profile changes to what we've known for so long as the norm impact family dynamics? We did kind of talk about this one. For example, expectations of daughters and sons.
Yeah, I think it's just the modern family that is part of our generation now. I mean, families look so different these days. And especially in the case of Kamala Harris, she has stepchildren, and this is obviously a second marriage for so this is that modern era. It's just going to be showcasing what our America looks like, the fabric of what it is, not what we think it is.
And just because, of course, now we do have a woman at the front of the executive branch doesn't mean that gender equality has been reached across the board. We still have some stuff to be done. What do you think is a good next step now that we have reached this historic point, and why can't we let this win convince us that nothing else needs to be done?
When I was looking up statistics, I mean, men still own more businesses than women. Women own more businesses than minorities. And it's knowing the facts. There's still a lot of work to be done. And so it's like, yeah, let's keep on voting. Let's keep on supporting women-owned, minority-owned businesses so we can all win. There is a lot of work to be done. The idea is, do we want to be part of the solution? Do we want to be part of that movement? I leave that up to those who are viewing.